Hi, everyone. At Science Daily, we love everything science. That includes the fascinating world of space, the final frontier. Okay, I promise not to geek out too much on you today. Throughout human history, we have been fascinated by space. The Greeks even minted coins with astronomical events as early as 120 BC. History is riddled with astronomers, inventors, and scientists whose discoveries eventually led to space travel and exploration. Copernicus, one of the world's most famous astronomers, proposed that the planets revolved around the sun versus the planets revolving around Earth. This was a huge breakthrough in our understanding of our solar system. Did you know that the Chinese made accurate star charts as early as the 16th century? This star chart you see here is the oldest surviving astronomical chart, which dates back to the mid-17th century. In 1609, another famous astronomer, Galileo, was able to publish the first realistic depiction of the moon with the use of a telescope. Funnily enough, some people played down Galileo's depiction of the moon, saying that the surface craters and irregularities were tricks of illumination. In 1813, the rocket equation based on Newton's third law of motion was presented by William Moore in its basic form. The rocket equation describes the rocket velocity, and spaceflight would not be possible without it. The world's first clear photograph of another world, the moon, was taken in 1840 by John William Draper. Draper used a telescope to capture the stunning image of our moon. In 1861, William Leach proposed using rockets for spaceflight. This proposal was published in A Journey Through Space. In 1903, Tsiolkovsky published work that showed that physical space exploration was theoretically possible in The Exploration of Cosmic Space by Means of Reaction Devices. Tsiolkovsky ended up becoming known as the father of space travel. In 1914, Robert Goddard filed for and was awarded a U.S. patent for multi-stage and liquid-fueled rockets. Just 3 years later, Goddard published a method of reaching extreme altitudes. Then later, in 1926, Goddard launched his first liquid-fueled rocket. Before this, rockets were launched with gunpowder. In 1927, Russian scientist Yuri Kondratyev discussed rocket mechanics and orbital effects, including the gravitational slingshot that you see here. This uses relative movement and gravity to alter the path and speed of a spacecraft. Get in a balloon, they say. Let's go to unbelievable heights to take a photo of Earth, they say. Sounds like a good idea, right? Well, in 1935 it happened. The Explorer 2 balloon was used to place 2 people high in our Earth's atmosphere so they could record the curvature of the Earth. Pretty crazy, right? In 1959, Explorer 6, an American satellite, snapped the first photo of Earth from orbit. This was a magical moment, and even though the photo is blurry, you can clearly see that the Earth is not flat for you flat earthers out there. In the months leading up to April 12, 1961, the United States and the USSR were in a tight race to get the first human into space. The USSR succeeded in winning that race when Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. Less than a month later, on May 5, 1961, Alex Shepard was the first American to pilot a spaceflight and the first human to land while still in the spacecraft, which was the first complete human spaceflight in history. At this point, it became a race to the moon for the United States and the USSR. This time, the United States won that race on July 16, 1969, and landed 2 astronauts on the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Between 1971 and 2015, all of our sister planets, including Pluto, which I'm still calling a planet, have been orbited by various countries. Multiple satellites have been launched into orbit, and never before photos of planets, constellations, and comets had occurred. In 1998, the first multinational space station was built. It is still the largest man-made object built in space to this day. And who can forget in 2018, the first dummy-driven Tesla was launched into space by SpaceX, playing Space Oddity by David Bowie. At the time of this writing, the Tesla is currently making its way back to Earth from 215,321,853 miles away. It is traveling at 14,138 miles per hour. Isn't space cool?